Are you tired of your gas-guzzling car and want to switch to an electric vehicle, but hesitant about their safety? Let's take a deep dive into the battery technology that is the heart of electric cars. Batteries are all around you. 20 years ago, when we imagined batteries, they looked something like this. Basically, a thing to power your RC cars, maybe some big bulky version for those heavy laptops. However, today batteries have been developed to drive our cars, store energy in ranges of megawatt hours, which is basically a power plant scale, and are driving the shift to a renewable world. With bigger batteries come bigger safety concerns. In recent news, we have heard about Tesla car batteries catching fire, leading to loss of lives. This is especially concerning given that the world is moving towards adopting batteries for more and more uses. Also, back in 2013, several 787 Boeing Dreamliners suffered from electrical fires due to lithium-ion batteries, probably the last thing you want to see when flying. So the question that begs to be asked, are batteries safe? To answer this, we need to look under the hood and understand what is a battery and how does it work. Lithium-ion batteries are state-of-the-art and have a very high energy density, which allows them to power electric vehicles. The battery operates by shuttling lithium ions between two electrodes called the anode and the cathode, which are divided by a separator. The anode is made of carbon graphite and the cathode is usually a metal oxide. The electrolyte is the medium through which the lithium ions move in the battery and is composed of organic carbonates. Now that we know this, we can ask how batteries can catch fire. Fire requires three components: oxygen, a heat source, and a fuel. Oxygen is mainly present in the cathode as they are made from oxides. Fuel is present in the electrolyte, which is composed of flammable organic carbonates. So where does the heat come from? Short-circuiting is the main source of heat generation. In normal operation, electrons flow from the anode to the motor and then to the cathode. A short circuit occurs when a path is made so the electrons can flow directly from anode to cathode. This process releases energy as heat. Short circuits can form due to the external mechanical damages, such as separator rupture. This is likely the cause for most battery fires from car accidents, although it is always hard to know for sure because the batteries are mostly destroyed in the fire. Chemical processes can also cause short circuits through lithium dendrite formation. Dendrites are needle-like lithium structures that accumulate on the anode surface during charging. If these spiky structures grow too large, they can pierce the separator and connect the anode and cathode, thus causing a short circuit. Unfortunately, even a little heat can lead to a lot of heat in a process known as thermal runaway. A little heat can initiate exothermic chemical reactions, which release more heat. The additional heat leads to more of these reactions, which release more heat, and on and on and on, until the fuel from the reaction is gone. Could we prevent thermal runaway by not using flammable electrolytes? Potentially, but organic electrolytes are used for good reason. Despite their hazard, organic solvents are used as electrolytes in lithium-ion batteries due to their unique ability to form an SEI, or solid electrolyte interface, which preserves the electrochemical efficiency of the cell. The SEI acts as a protective layer that prevents side reactions between the solvent and anode by blocking electrons, but the SEI allows lithium ions to pass through, which is needed to complete the circuit. Non-flammable solvents are not able to form SEIs and therefore have low electrochemical efficiencies. Given all of this, is it right to be scared of electric vehicles? Considering how violently we've seen a single battery cell can react, it might rightfully cause some alarm that each electric vehicle has literally thousands of these. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's turn to the data. As you might have guessed, one of the biggest safety issues with electric vehicles is fire. Actually, it's a problem for all cars, causing $1.9 billion in damages each year in the United States and killing hundreds. So we'll frame things in a relative context, comparing the safety of a standard electric vehicle to its counterpart, a gasoline vehicle. Both can ignite in collisions, when sparks ignite gasoline or flammable electrolyte, or when battery packs undergo thermal runaway. The key figure for how dangerous a car fire is the rate at which it releases heat, in energy per second. Studies in full-scale tests have shown that heat release rates for gasoline and electric vehicles are similar. Although there are more batteries than gasoline by weight, batteries burn slower with less heat per unit mass. And a lot of the heat in a car fire comes from the interior, anyways. However, electric vehicle fires do pose a challenge to firefighters, often taking hours to extinguish, because the total combustion energy of a 500 kilogram battery pack is 5 to 10 times higher than the 50 liters of gasoline. But how frequently do these fires occur? According to the National Fire Protecting Association, there is one fire for every 19 million miles traveled by a gasoline vehicle. Meanwhile, Tesla has extensively tracked their vehicle safety, finding only one fire-related incident for every 205 million miles traveled. That's more than 10 times less frequent. But it's important to note that Tesla is one of many manufacturers, and only 1% of cars on their road are electric. So this figure, while very promising, is still developing. Because electric cars are just taking off, there is still limited data about the injuries and deaths they may cause. But for the time being, this preliminary data does not indicate that electric vehicles are dangerous in comparison with fire being no more frequent and having similar heat release rates. And keep in mind that electric vehicles are a new technology, and scientists are already working hard to solve some of these problems to improve safety. One of the coolest tactics being investigated right now are flame retardants inside batteries. Microcapsules with flame retardant inside the battery will pop and spread when the battery fails and heats up. These limit the ability of the fire to spread, but destroy the battery. Another tactic is battery monitoring. By monitoring the health of the battery, it hopes to break the circuit once it measures something going wrong. The downside here is that this cannot prevent battery failure in case of a car crash, for example. Battery management systems are currently used in electric vehicles. Finally, polymers as a battery material is a very hot research topic, with many possible applications envisioned. Currently, batteries consist of an anode, a cathode, and a boring liquid electrolyte. When the temperature increases, these liquid electrolytes release flammable gases as they decompose at higher temperature. Therefore, researchers are now looking at replacing this liquid electrolyte with a solid polymer electrolyte, which they hope gives better stability at higher temperatures. One downside is that the solid polymer has a much higher resistance. In closing, the future is shaping up to be an exciting one, with the transition to electric vehicles poised to play an important role in our transition to green energy. In this video, we've shown some of these issues behind battery safety, but the path to improving them is already laid out.